We're going to start once we have established a quorum, which we are not yet able to do. So for now, sit tight.
Carrasco, Perales, Mahan,
Here.
Esparza,
Here.
and Foley. And
Here.
that was Perales.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the Community Economic Development Committee. I'm here in person with staff, and the rest of my council colleagues are virtual. Lucky them. Before we begin, I'd just like to establish the orders of the day and the code of conduct, and that is to remind everybody that both the committee members and members of the public to follow our code of conduct at this meeting. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only and addressing the full body. Public speakers will not engage in a conversation with the chair or council members, commissioners, or staff. All members of the committee, staff, and public are expected to refrain from abusive language. Repeated failure to comply with the code of conduct, which will disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, may result in the removal of this meeting. This meeting of the CED committee will now come to order. I've been dying to do this. Oh, and I already had our clerk call the roll. So there, I'm one step ahead. All right, we do have a rather large agenda today, so at some point I may ask those from the public to speak for 1 minute. We're not going to start there. We're going to start with 2 minutes, but it really depends on how long our meeting is because we have some really deep conversations that we want to have on some pretty heavy topics. With that, I'm going to move through the agenda. There is nothing to review on the work plan. With the consent calendar, we have one item, which is the Arts Commission Annual Report and Work Plan. We don't have any presentation since this is consent. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item?
Yes, we have Blair Beekman.
Okay, Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I guess we're at the end of September. I just wanted to, this is for Art Commission work plan things for 2022-23. I just wanted to offer a friendly reminder that when Art Commission does its work, when they wade into the waters of surveillance technology and law enforcement and data collection, I hope they can be careful and really look towards ideas of beauty as how to answer questions as opposed to working towards restriction. And yeah, beauty and openness before restriction, which I think the Arts Commission has a bit of a trouble with. And so I hope that that can be taken into account, and the use of surveillance tech within the Arts Commission process, I think, should be very much questioned. And you know, those sort of practices, I think we should really concentrate on our good and our positive, and good luck in those efforts. We want a full community process and an integrated community process, and I hope that can be towards the concepts of real openness and sharing and understanding that respects all people instead of closing people off and being exclusive. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? I'm assuming that, thank you. Okay, Councilmember Mahan, thank you. Sure, where? And I need a second?
Second.
Thank you. We're just approving the consent. Yeah. Nothing controversial. Yasmin, can you take the roll, please?
Perales, Mahan,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
and Foley.
Aye.
And Carrasco's here.
Thank you, Carrasco.
Great. We have a full committee.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone. Moving on to the first report from the committee, the Citywide Residential Anti-Displacement Quarterly Report.
Good afternoon, Chair Foley and council members. Thank you for having us here today. I'm Kristen Clements. I'm a division manager with the Housing Department. And with me here are Emily Hislop, also a division manager overseeing our rent stabilization and eviction help centers. And instead of Reagan Henninger today, we have our esteemed director, Jackie Morales-Ferrand, in residence. Next slide, please. Oh, that's me. Next slide, please. Thank you. Today, we're here to give you a status update on progress on our top 4 priorities under our citywide anti-displacement strategy, which the City Council approved in September 2020. This slide shows the top 4 recommendations that we have prioritized. Today's report focuses on recommendation number 1, the city's work on eviction prevention. As the memo notes, work on number 2, tenant preferences, number 3, a Copa program proposal, and number 4, work on our Housing Commission's lived experience seat were deferred largely in the past quarter due to staff's need to focus on creating a draft 6th cycle housing element. However, work on priority 4 is speeding apace now because we have a new staff member staffed to it, and we'll give you an update at the end of the presentation. So at the end, we'll also look forward on next steps for priorities 2 and 3. And now I'll hand it to Emily Hislop for an update on our eviction prevention efforts over the last quarter.
Thank you, Kristen. Good afternoon. Just as an update, the City of San Jose with the COVID-19 State Rental Assistance Program, as of September 17th, $128.1 million has been paid to property owners on behalf of 10,702 households. $107.8 million of that, 84%, was paid on behalf of 9,152 very and extremely low income households. 49.3% of applicants have been from Latinx headed households, and 62.6%, well over the majority, have been in extremely low income households. For reference, an extremely low income household is a household that earns a total of 30% of the area median income. For a family of 4 in Santa Clara County, that is earning less than $50,550. For very low income, that's 50% of the area median income, which currently for a family of 4 in Santa Clara County is $84,250 or less. Next slide. Really briefly, there was a legal challenge brought against this California COVID-19 rental assistance program, which due to a preliminary injunction has put a temporary hold on the program issuing denials in many cases, alleging that many denials were unjust and that tenants were provided with inadequate information and no meaningful way to appeal their application decision. This means there's still work to do for the Eviction Prevention Help Center and helping tenants open up some cases or try to get funding when they were underfunded. Next slide. As we updated the committee at our last meeting, the city, in partnership with, at the time, the county, Sacred Heart Community Services, Destination Home, and the Project Sentinel Court Mediation Program, launched an eviction diversion and settlement program. As a review, this is a temporary targeted program to intervene in evictions of tenants where the eviction is based in whole or in part on non-payment of rent. This is a voluntary program. We also opened it up to tenants who were at imminent risk of eviction, but all tenants had to meet certain criteria. And we were using federal monies left over from the local federally funded ERA 1 program to fund this program, and we have to obligate those funds by September 30th. The program has caught tenants whose state applications were either deemed inactive, were unfunded, or where there was a continuing need after March 31st of this year for rental assistance, which is, as we all know, still an ongoing need. So we have until the end of this week to obligate funds that we're currently using for this program. We also updated you last time that we were excited on June 1st to launch a unlawful detainer court clinic with a bunch of partners as part of a holistic approach to helping litigants, both landlords and attorneys who are involved in unlawful detainer actions. This clinic happens at the courthouse. Our partners are, of course, the court, the county, the court's self-help center, Sacred Heart, Destination Home, and the Project Sentinel Court Mediation Program. It's open to both tenants and landlords who are involved in eviction actions. Litigants get assistance with court filings or legal referrals, access and connections to mediation services and other resources to help resolve the court action, avoid judgment, and work towards stable housing. The goal, which has been a long time goal, is to have this holistic clinic become a permanent part of the unlawful detainer process in the county. This clinic and our eviction diversion settlement program firm up basically a last line of defense in preventing displacement and utilizing federal funding to address the regional housing stability issues that were only exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Before reviewing this slide, I just want to give a top-level view of everything the Eviction Prevention Help Team does. They have three main efforts. The Help Center Services is what was originally established with the Eviction Prevention Help Center, where staff is helping people with appeals, pending applications, getting connected to legal services, and general inquiries about eviction. Our second effort is our presence at court, not only during the UD clinic, but also having staff on site during 2 days of the unlawful detainer court calendar to help people look up statuses of their rental assistance application. And then the third main effort has been this eviction diversion and settlement program. Quickly, in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 21-22, the results of staff's work at the Eviction Prevention Help Centers and at court, 625 households during the quarter were assisted in person, either completing or appealing rent relief applications. 2,241 were assisted by phone. Almost 240 households received legal services from our walk-in and virtual daily legal services help from Bay Area Legal and Law Foundation. We participated in 18 outreach events and in community engagements, and at least 60 households were assisted while at court. Good news for our eviction diversion and settlement program. Of the 68 cases we have started since the May launch, so far $470,000 has been paid or will be paid to property owners on behalf of 25 San Jose tenant households. Another $662,000 is conditionally approved to be paid to property owners on behalf of 34 San Jose households. This will be a total of $1.3 million of federal monies paid out thanks to the dedicated hard work of the Eviction Help Center team and our partners over this summer. I just want to give a shout out that the 12 plus Eviction Help Center analysts and navigators, as well as Sacred Heart's team, have really hustled in the last 3+ months to prevent these 59 households from being forcibly evicted through an unlawful detainer judgment. This has stabilized some of the households in their current housing and allowed others more time to get back on their feet or to find other housing. Unlawful detainer filings are increasing well beyond pre-pandemic levels, and most are based on non-payment of rent. The Housing Department is identifying other possible funding sources to continue the EDSP, Eviction Diversion Program, through the end of the year to help mitigate this ongoing need.
Thanks, Emily. So looking forward over the next few months on the priorities number 2, 3, and 4 for the anti-displacement strategy. First, on tenant preferences, Senator Cortese sponsored Senate Bill 649, SB 649. Actually, that 2-year bill, the governor has until this Friday to either veto or sign this bill that we've worked hard on together with 2 co-sponsors, including Somos Mayfair. This bill would enable anti-displacement tenant preferences to be used reliably on affordable housing deals that also use tax credits and or bond financing. If that bill passes, we will be in good shape to implement preferences as soon as we design them and council passes them. Second, we are working with Fuse to hire a Fuse fellow and then onboard the fellow to do analysis under the state's draft framework that they provided to us a few months ago, although they haven't finalized it, and I'm not sure that they plan to finalize it, but we do have their draft. So with that, we will create a revised work plan once the fellow arrives and proceed with the analysis and the program design and stakeholder work. By using the state's draft framework, we'll then design the preference, hoping for the state's eventual acceptance of the city's program. That acceptance would allow our tenant preferences to be used on state-funded affordable housing properties. The second priority for Copa, Community Opportunity to Purchase program proposal. Now that this first draft housing element has been submitted to the state and was submitted on the 16th of September, we are starting to refocus on a draft program proposal for Copa. After 8 months of meetings and program design last year, staff posted a draft program proposal in late November, and then we held 7 public meetings on this proposal in December, January, and February. But then we paused this work until about 4 weeks ago. So given this pause, we will refresh our program proposal based on that public input that we received, and we've scheduled 2 public meetings on the revised proposal, November 14th and November 17th, which is on our website. We're also going to take in that feedback and then break for the holiday and do some more public outreach in January. Our plans to bring the program proposal to the Housing Commission and to full council in the spring. We continue to coordinate with Somos Mayfair on a Copa proposal as they have a grant to do this work with the city through the San Francisco Foundation to ensure that the voice of residents most affected by displacement are reflected in the program design. Finally, for the lived experience seat on the Housing and Community Development Commission, in the next 2 months, housing staff will be working very closely with the clerk's office and the mayor's office, who will appoint the new lived experience commissioner to get this work done. We're doing outreach to organizations and the public. We're holding an open house to educate people who might be interested about the seat in about 1 month. We're revising the commission application, and we're developing the needed supports and training. The goal is for us to start this new year, or the new year, with this new seat filled and an alternate commissioner identified and also appointed. And along with that, we're advertising for the 2 open seats as well, that one that the mayor has to appoint and one that District 9 gets to appoint, so that we would have a full commission. And before we open it up for any questions you might have, finally, we did want to note that as the memo states, over the last 19 months, staff has given 14 updates on our work to the council and to 2 council committees. These are all listed on page 3. As you can imagine, this has been a bit of a heavy lift. And so moving forward, our intentions to bring general updates on different recommendations under the strategy 2 times a year to NSE, which is appropriate given the type of work that would be done under most of the remaining recommendations of the anti-displacement strategy. And with that, we're available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, Emily, and Jackie for being here. Let's go to first to the members of the public. Is there anyone with their hands raised?
Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks a lot for this item. A good learning experience with this item. I guess hopefully all I can do is, I heard you're going through some review of 6 cycle things. I guess, is that with regional housing issues? Good luck with that sort of work. It's always been my hope that you could review mixed income ideas and what those concepts can help develop for very low and extremely low within the concepts of moderate and more higher income.
Blair, we're talking about the anti-displacement strategy.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Councilperson Foley. To speak to anti-displacement issues, I think all I can do at this time is offer reminders of the importance of wanting to fund programs so people aren't displaced and that there can be safeguards. We have a whole new set of subsidy planning that besides home key projects, you know, we have ways that we can address subsidy issues for people who are displaced now, where we didn't have that before, and subsidize them for 2 to 5 years at a time instead of 6 months to 18 months. So it's that sort of thing we have to organize with ourselves and learn how to be more open and sharing about and clear with each other as a community process. And that's how we grow, because we know how to do this stuff well. We just have to be open about how we do this well. And a quick reminder that, you know, with homeless death statistics on the streets that are being counted at this time, that's a new statistic around Vision Zero thinking. Let's respect that and try to work towards homeless deaths that are happening on our roads and such. And let's talk about that openly. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. Moving back to the committee, do any of my council colleagues have their hand raised? I don't see it. Do you want, I'm sorry, you know, I don't know how to use this thing.
You're the mayor today.
Mayor. Councilmember Esparza.
Thank you.
And it's even flashing at me blue.
Does it?
Flashing view, look
Is that
at
how
it.
that works? Okay. So I had a few questions. So I noticed that most of the help assistance that we're offering is on the phone. In fact, let me go back to the presentation. Where is it? So are we offering folks to be able to come in person? I know the appointments are being made in person, but for example, 239 households receive legal services, 10 in person and 229 by phone. Can you explain that?
We are open for walk-ins. People call us first, and some of the legal services, because we're able to fill intakes out for on behalf of people outside of the hours that the legal services are. Sometimes they don't even come in, that they get called by Law Foundation or Bay Area Legal Aid in the interim period. Bay Area Legal Aid is still virtual 2 days a week. The option to walk in has been open the entire year, and it's not by appointment only. We see people at City Hall, we see people at Franklin McKinley, we see people at court, we see people at our administrative location as well.
Yeah, I'm aware that people are walking in, but our office has been told to have people call first, that they cannot get an appointment without calling first.
Thank you.
So that's the message that my staff has been given.
That's not the message we are giving. We suggest people call because if somebody just received an unlawful detainer a few days prior, we want to make sure that they go to a place where they can get assistance filing an answer. But nobody is stopped from coming in. We don't require appointments. We're open 7 days a week. We're open from 1 to 8 on Wednesdays at one location. But really it's so we make sure that they get connected to help, because if they need to file an answer to a lawsuit that day, we want to send them to the self-help center or directly to Law Foundation, where there will be people there who can assist them with that filing. It may not necessarily, there may not be hours necessarily available to do that work on the day that they're calling, because our hours are staggered of when we offer legal services. But
Right. I'm aware. I just think we need to revisit some of our messaging, because once we put something out there, even if we change it or even if we change the wording, once it's out, it lives out there. People do call my office, and we have some materials that have that, and so I think it would just be helpful, because that's interesting that most folks are getting helped over the phone. Yet in previous memos and reports, the whole idea was that folks could sit down and talk with folks, that they needed help in the prior iteration, not the current one, but in the prior iteration, folks needed help uploading documents and had a lot of questions about what types of documents would be accepted. And it's difficult sometimes to do that by phone.
Yeah, let me jump in on this one. I'm Jackie Morales-Frand. I'm the Director of Housing, and I think you're right. You've seen that shift because the majority of the work prior to this was mostly about helping people with their applications. But right now, we've shifted a lot of work towards actually stopping evictions, which, because of the timeline, you have 3 days in which to answer. People have to be responded to fairly quickly. And so we're finding it to be as effective in terms of having a conversation over the phone to make sure they don't come in to see us because we can't provide legal advice. So in some ways, we're potentially the least helpful when
Right.
you're facing an eviction. Where we can be helpful is ensuring they get connected to the right resources for that particular concern. But we are more narrowly focused on actually helping people with the applications, more broadly focused now on actual eviction prevention help or people who are actually getting evicted. Because as Emily has also stated, we're seeing a large increase on the numbers of filings in the court as well.
For sure. And the Chronicle did an article and it said that we had some of the highest in the county, in the Bay Area. So, yeah. The second thing that I wanted to ask was, so I've read about the lawsuit in the newspapers. We were the last county to offer our own rental assistance, sort of separately from that. Given that the deadline to commit the funds is September 30th, is there any way that we will, in the 2 days left, will we get a reprieve from that deadline, or would we be able to give out any remaining funds out of this county? What could happen with that in the future? What do we think is going to happen?
So we have we're still getting referrals and putting them on a wait list. It's our intention to go to council to get approval to use some other source of funding to put into this program. It will be a little bit easier than the federal funding, but we can't get an extension on this federal funding. What we have done is conditionally improved most of the applicants we have in queue so that we can obligate as much of that funding as possible. And we are working with Sacred Heart and Destination Home for ways to kind of bridge a gap because it will take some time to go to council to get approval. But we're already working with Sacred Heart for how to continue this program through the end of the year. We have ongoing discussions with both landlord and tenant attorneys. They trust this program. They come to us. So and many times the unlawful detainer doesn't get calendared for trial for quite a while. So there's time, and it's a collaborative effort. It's benefiting everybody involved. So we expect to go to council probably in November.
To use our own money, but not to use anybody else's money.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, but I would add that we've had conversations with Destination Home, and they're equally as concerned about what they're seeing in the number of evictions, and so I know they're trying to come up with strategies on how we get, early on in the eviction, they were very successful in raising money from the private sector. And then what happened was that huge influx of eviction prevention money came. And so people were like, we don't have to do anything because now, there's a real resource available statewide. I think now that people can see that resource is gone and we have clear data that evictions are up, that we are hoping that we can also implement a strategy with Destination Home leading the way to raise some private money in addition to public money.
The Chronicle has spent a few days covering this in lots of different ways. They've done some really interesting analyses. They're up all over the Bay Area, and we can expect that this is just the beginning. Are we talking with any of our partner regions or in the Bay Area? You mentioned our nonprofit partners, but any other county or city or other government agencies about how to partner to make to do joint funding, or I know some folks are talking about regional measures, but what conversations are we having in the Bay Area?
Yeah, we're in a somewhat different position than Oakland and San Francisco, because I think Oakland had some other eviction laws that had preceded the state law that said, okay, cities, you can no longer pass these types of legislation. So they're in a slightly different situation. So I do meet with San Francisco and Oakland to share information. San Francisco has always had a much richer, deeper source of funding than San Jose has, and so they have been able to implement programs, but frankly, they have been more challenged in working with their nonprofits than we have, and so they've kind of slowed down releasing money because of the implementation challenges they have. And then, of course, we are in conversations with the regional entity, BAFA, regarding what work they can be doing around anti-displacement. San Francisco Foundation has also been very supportive regarding work on what we can do around these issues as well. But we haven't come up yet with the brilliant solution, but definitely in discussions with a full range of partners.
Thank you. I think an eviction is one thing, and then I think in my district, actually in the east side, in neighboring districts, I've seen really large rent increases from 15, 20%, which is another way to get people to move, right? And so I think we're in for an interesting couple of years. And then I'll take the third question I have offline. Thank you. That's it for me, Madam Chair.
Whoops, thank you. I thank you for the report on the strategy 1 for anti-displacement, but I had a couple of comments regarding the Copa and coming back to us for future reports. Kristen, you had mentioned that you intended to go back to NEC, but the city council instructed to come back here as well. So we'd really like to see you back here when you bring back the next 3 strategies. I think it's important, since we do look at housing quite a bit and these issues. So I think it's all part of what this committee should be hearing and seeing, in addition to NSE. I realize it's extra time, but it's really helpful if you could be here for this committee, since particularly in all of these areas, we've been instrumental in helping move them forward as well. So I'd love to see these back here, and whoever's on this committee next year, I don't really know.
Sure, we're happy to do that. I just would want clarification and confirmation that you're comfortable with us coming back once instead of coming back twice.
If you're going to NSC once, come to us once too.
Okay,
Well, I
that's
don't need
perfect.
here, speaking for me, but I don't think it's necessary for you to come here 2 or 3 times unless that's the council's instructions. Do we need to change that at all, or I'm fine with once?
It was the original council instruction. It would be our proposal that when we go forward with the next council item, an action item, that we ask the council to support reducing that to once every 6 months.
Yeah.
So twice a year.
Twice a year, that's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm okay with that. And if there are any, I do expect a lot of change in this area in the next couple years because of all the issues everybody's facing. And so in between that, I think it would be helpful to do an info memo, because I think there are going to be a lot of things that we are going to be responding to and things that we will be advocating for as a city. So I do think that this will need some attention. So I'm okay with twice a year. I just think we're going to need to be updated in between that. Thanks.
I agree with that.
I would
Thank
say
you.
the one thing we didn't touch on, but that is definitely on my mind, is that, our intent is also to look at legislative opportunities in order to strengthen tenant protections on a statewide basis, or to provide more guidance in these areas, or even information. It's really difficult to get specific information about what's happening with evictions, who's being evicted, for what reason. And it's only thankful to the work that the staff has done that they've been able to get some of the information, but you should not have to rely on relationship building. It should be open records that allow cities to better understand what's happening in our community. So that is one area that we hope to build a more robust program on, is how to get some state legislation that is more supportive of these activities.
Great, thank you. And then I just have a comment regarding Copa. I know you're not going to bring it back to us for a while, but I would encourage you that with your notification that you not just depend on posting it on your website, that you proactively reach out to the stakeholders, and that's not just those who might be able to benefit from a Copa program, but also realtors and housing providers, because they are as important a part of this mix in the discussion of crafting the policy that is beneficial for everyone involved. So if you could include that instead of, and I would say relying on any form of communication, just relying on putting it in on our website, and you may have decided you're going to reach out in other ways too, but we need to be as proactive as possible because a lot has changed, and there's a lot of moving pieces with Copa that will be changed as comments come in and as numbers are run, and as we hit a recession or we don't, things could affect what comes forward with this. So anything you can do to encourage and involve all of our stakeholders would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, we have a pretty big e-blast list for Copa.
Okay.
And we're encouraging everyone to sign up for e-blast. It's close to 1,000 people now,
Great.
I think, on it. So yes, we definitely e-blast information out. Thanks.
Wonderful, because what we don't want to hear anyone say is, I didn't know about that. Well, okay, you got the e-blast and you've been notified 20
Right.
times, that's on you.
Right.
You know, I want to be
Yeah.
able to say that. That's on you.
Exactly. Yes. And we were hoping that the people who participated in our 7-month process will share information with their groups as well. So that would be nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Councilmember Esparza.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up. That's a really important point. I also, to combat the misinformation out there, and I know right before Christmas, I got some really heartbreaking letters from mobile home park residents that thought that they were going to lose their homes because that's what through a game of telephone, that's the message that
Yeah.
they received. And we worked really hard to make sure that they got all the information before Christmas so that they, wouldn't have to wait a week or whatever to get a response. But I think those graphics, and I think that's something where all the council offices can help too, is just to share it on social media and say you can go here, and so that we keep pushing it out throughout the year, because along with the email blast, but the partners is a really, really great point, so that they know where to go, because not everybody knows where to go, especially when there's frankly some fear mongering out there.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for your help with that too. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. So is there a motion to accept the report?
Move to accept.
Second.
Seeing no other hands raised, let's vote.
Carrasco? Peralez?
Aye.
Yes.
Mahan?
Aye.
Esparza?
Yes.
And Foley.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, ladies. Is it appropriate to call them ladies? Ultra sensitive now. Okay, moving on to the next item, which is the Berryessa Flea Market Status Report. I know we just heard a status report at City Council, but this is a little bit of a different take on the report. And looks like we have Nancy and Blage. But you're not Lori. Nathan, thank you.
Lori is on the phone.
It's the mask that's setting me off, Nathan.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Nancy Klein, Director of Office of Economic Development, Cultural Affairs. Happy to be here. I just wanted to say, yes, indeed, this is a little bit of a different report. It is quarterly that we come to you to give you a status update. And there will be at least a little bit of conversation on the consultants, which we've successfully hired, and we're very excited about their tremendously skilled and already proven work in San Jose, because we want to work deftly, fastly, and with a lot of great thought as we move forward. Blage?
Nancy. Blage Lalich, Deputy Director for Economic Development. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. So this is just a very brief outline of the 4 points that we are going to be going over in today's quarterly status report. So as you are all very well aware, back in June of 2021, the council approved the Berryessa Flea Market Southside rezoning project. As part of that project, council adopted a variety of measures with the intention of supporting vendors as the site transitions from a flea market to a transit-oriented development. For one thing, the council required that the property owner provide a 1-year notice to vendors before any planned closure, and this 1-year notice cannot occur before July of 2023. Council also directed OEDCA staff to reach out to vendors, offer resources, technical support, and engage them in the planning process. Next, council directed the property owner to contribute $5 million towards a vendor transition fund for the primary purpose of assisting vendors with relocation costs. The city has also set aside $2.5 million for this fund. The council directed the establishment of a new flea market advisory group to consist of a supermajority of vendors. And lastly, council directed staff to work on a package of research to support the vendor community moving forward, including exploring alternative sites and configurations for a future market. The advisory group will also be tasked with providing recommendations on the allocations of funds and on the design and operation of the future 5-acre market on site. The funds may go to studies that will help guide the city's work and the advisory group recommendations. The council also directed the flea market owner to submit quarterly status reports. The flea market owner has submitted 4 of them to date: in October of 2021, and in 2022 in January, April, and July. The July 2022 report states that the property owner submitted applications to the planning department for a master planned development permit and a tentative map. And those were in the October 2021 report. These applications are still under review by the city, and the master plan development permit application will be subject to approval at a planning director's hearing. The property owner has not initiated any physical activity associated with the redevelopment of the site under the planned development zoning. For this reason, the quarterly reports have indicated that no vendors have been relocated or displaced, which the property owner is defining as involuntarily removing vendors from the market due to physical changes to the site. The latest report in July of 2022 does indicate the termination of 2 vendors due to licensing agreement issues. And now I'd like to turn it over to the presentation to Nathan, who's going to talk a little bit more about the consultant work staff has engaged in.
Thank you, Blage. I'd like to give you a status report on the consultant work, starting with the consultant selected to help stand up the advisory group. If this looks familiar, it's because you approved us moving forward with this work just a couple of weeks ago at the full council, so I'll be brief in my comments. Baird and Driscoll Community Planning was selected after an RFP process to assist on the advisory group effort, and they are a longtime Bay Area staple in the community engagement world, and in San Jose have been brought in to work with the community on our Copa program, the San Jose housing element, and with the mobile home park community, to name just a few of their San Jose engagements. Staff is currently finalizing the consultant agreement, and next we will work with Baird and Driscoll to engage stakeholders in drafting the advisory group charter for city council approval. In fact, we're already strategizing on how that's going to work. The charter will, at a minimum, describe the composition of the group, membership terms, and member selection process. With a charter in place, the next step will be to select the specific advisory group members using the process established in the charter. And our goal is to complete these steps as soon as we can and start advisory group meetings in the spring of 2023. So as part of the August 30th approval, Council directed OED-CA to move forward immediately with 2 pieces of research on public market operations and an alternative site assessment with Estelano Advisors as our prime contractor. Estelano has a lot of experience on the West Coast and locally worked on establishing the Community Stabilization Fund as part of the Google Downtown West project here in San Jose. I'm really excited to have them on board as they've assembled a great team to work on this, with a goal that these projects will tangibly benefit the vendor and wider stakeholder community by arming them and all of us really with critical information to help us move forward. Now, at the August 30th meeting, Council expressed concern that any relocation of the Berryessa flea market to an area near the Capitol Flea Market could impact vendors at that market. And so Council authorized an additional $25,000 to study any potential impacts on the Capitol Flea Market and conduct outreach with those vendors in the event that the alternative site assessment explores potential sites there. And we've been working to implement that into our contract with EA. Staff anticipates completion of this work in the summer of next year. And these studies will not result in specific recommendations necessarily, but rather a series of findings, insights, and information that can guide the city, the vendors, the property owner, and other stakeholders as the project evolves. So staff has been meeting regularly with vendor representatives and community leaders since June of last year, including representatives from the Berryessa Flea Market Association. And we're also working with the vendor community to provide multilingual resources that can help their businesses right now. This includes providing connections to existing technical assistance, relevant grants and loans, and potential customized assistance programs as well. For example, we recently worked with a nonprofit called MarketLink to host a vendor electronic benefit transfer training to assist some flea market vendors in becoming EBT and CalFresh authorized to help them expand their customer base. We're currently planning a vendor outreach event for next month in October. And the goal of this outreach event is to introduce the new consultant teams to stakeholders and vendors. During the event, staff and the consultants will go over the next steps for the formation of the advisory group and the studies and engage vendors in the process.
And so in summary, staff is working quickly to execute the agreements and advance the advisory group formation and the real estate and operational studies that we have on tap. We will continue to work with the community, vendor community, providing multilingual resources and engaging them in the various work streams that we've laid out. And in the meantime, we look forward for ways to support the vendor community and their business needs, both short and longer term. The committee will receive their next update on this work in spring of 2023, and we are all here, staff as well as representatives from the consultant team, available for questions as we conclude this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Nancy, Blage, and Nathan for your presentation. Moving to members of the public.
Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman here. A real thank you that you've described that one of the roles of the advisory board will be to help in design the future of the flea market area, and to really question, how current 5 acres can be broadened a bit to maybe 7, 8, or 10 acres even, and with that, to help in an overall architectural design of the future of the place, with input from everyday community and people who've been around the flea market for so long, I think that's a really, really interesting idea that offers, you know, city cooperation, community cooperation, and that's how to, I think, address this sort of issue that the flea market has been so vital to all of us for so long. It's to invite community input in the future design of the place. I think it's an awesome idea, and good luck how to work those sort of concepts that it sounds like you're working towards. Thank you. I wanted to quickly offer, boy, you know, in my weirdness, I hope it isn't too weird for yourselves, but to bring it out, you know how my feelings about possible upcoming earthquake in 2023, how I'm not sure, but I feel to mention it at this time as
Blair, the earthquake is not on topic for the flea
no,
market.
but how I was going to mention it about was see if this is relevant. That how will it relate to asking people to start leaving the flea market in the summer of 2023, and if that thinking is needed, if an earthquake is possibly coming. I don't know, but just to mention that and be open about it here. Thanks for your patience and allowing me to say this at this time. Thank you.
Eric?
Good afternoon, Chair Foley, members of the committee. My name is Eric Shanauer. I represent the flea market landowner and business owner. Just want to take the time to thank the staff for maintaining a continuous line of communication with the flea market owners as the city moves through the vendor engagement process. And we look forward to continuing to facilitate the city's engagement on site with the vendors. And I'm available if there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Before I go back to the committee, I do notice that we have a lot of telephone callers on, so I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to raise their hand. So you just click *9 to raise your hand if you'd like to speak for public comment, and back to the committee.
Thank you. Seeing no other hands raised, going to the council. Councilmember Esparza.
Move to accept the report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seeing
And I'm raising my hand, except that I don't see my name up here. I don't know if I'm a guest or
no,
a,
I see. We've got you. I see you. Go ahead, Councilmember
so much.
Carrasco.
I just had a question for staff regarding the $25,000 for outreach. What is the source of those $25,000?
Thank you for the question, council member. It is part of the $500,000 that was the first tranche of dollars that came to us from the developer.
And would you refresh my memory? Was that already baked into the activities that were supposed to be funded by that $500,000?
Thank you again, council member. The funds are for these related studies and initial work, or continuing work, better said, with the vendors. So the outreach and the analysis is in line with the dollars. And Nathan is just letting me know that the 25,000, apologize, I got that wrong, is from the flea market reserve that was transferred to the city.
Okay. And again, that reserve was meant to be used for these activities?
Yes, and particularly the reserve is geared toward assisting with what is next for the vendors. It could be either in help moving to new site or sites, or in direct payments eventually to the vendors. Hasn't been determined quite yet.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Ness.
Councilmember, can I add on one thing real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make clear, and thank you again for your question, Nathan Donato Weinstein with OEDCA. So when we say flea market reserve, that specifically refers to the city's $2.5 million contribution. It's not the money from the flea market owner. And when on August 30th, when council approved the various actions we brought to you, it included, those actions included that $25,000 coming from the reserve fund, the city funds, as well as some extra dollars to assist us with multilingual outreach and language facilitation.
And do you anticipate tapping into
Correct.
these funds anymore, so beyond the 25?
We don't anticipate at this second, and we certainly would keep council apprised and the committee apprised if there were such plans.
Okay, thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Let's vote.
Carrasco,
Aye.
Perales,
Yes.
Mahan,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
and Foley.
Aye. Moving on to the next item, which is the Mobile Home Park Land Use Designation Status Report. Before we get to the presentation, I just want to announce earlier I mentioned that we would continue on for 2 minutes of public comment, and seeing that our committee is moving along quicker than I had anticipated, we will stay at 2 minutes in public comment. So no need, whoever's calling, and I know we probably have a lot of people online who are calling in, no need to adjust your speech. With that, I'll turn it over to Chris Burton and Michael Brio.
Hi, Michael Brio, Deputy Director of Citywide Planning. I'm joined by Bryce Grubbs, who is a planner in our Citywide and is really, I want to give him credit for being the author of the memo that you received in the analysis. This is he came from UC San Diego, and this is his first memo. He's only been with us, I think, for 5 months. So I just want to give a shout out to Bryce for all his great work today.
Welcome, Bryce. How exciting.
And then, of course, Chris Burton, Deputy Director of Planning, Building Code Enforcement, also joins us. Okay, let's get the show on the road here. So a little bit of background on how we got where we are here today. So if you remember back prior to 2015, the Winchester Mobile Home Park they made an announcement they were going to close the park and sell it to, I think it was Toll Brothers Development for redeveloping that site. It caused a lot of trepidation and raised a lot of issues related to mobile home parks and the need to further preserve them, but also to define more concrete what the closure process should be. So we're coming out of that, and as a result of that mobile home park closure process, the council approved a number of zoning code amendments, general plan amendments, and a City Council Policy 6-33 related to the conversion of mobile home parks to other use. So that was the largest body of work and the largest step that the city has taken in years to preserve mobile home parks and provide more clarity on if they're going to close, what that closure process needs to entail. In 2017, the City Council directed staff to analyze additional general plan amendments to further promote preservation, including potentially creating a new mobile home park designation, potentially designating some parks for commercial or industrial uses, etc. In 2018, staff presented to City Council with an analysis of the potential general plan amendments, the resources that were needed to complete that work as well, and our recommendation on how to move forward. In 2019, staff initiated work to create a new mobile home park general plan land use designation and apply it to the 2 parks at the most risk of redevelopment or closure. And those were Mountain Spring in Council District 7 and West Winds Mobile Home Park in North San Jose. In 2020, the City Council applied the new mobile home park designation to both those mobile home parks, which had an urban residential land use designation, which allowed higher density residential uses. And staff believe that could be an incentive for redevelopment. And mind you, one of the parks at the time, West Winds, was going through a mobile home park operator change, and there was some inkling that there could be some significant changes to that park in the near future. At that time, City Council directed staff to initiate general plan amendments for all the remaining mobile home parks in San Jose. I think it's 56 of them. But then, of course, the pandemic hit, the city's priorities shifted, shelter in place happened and this work item was paused. We did not obtain the money to do this work, and the item was essentially put on hold. So fast forward to 2022, there was a lot of discussion as part of this past fiscal year 22-23 budget process related to funding the completion or partial completion of redesignating the remaining mobile home parks to a mobile home park designation to add a further layer, a further entitlement process before those parks could redevelop or close. As part of the budget process, the council allocated $30,000 to redesignate 5 of the mobile home parks, at least 5 of the mobile home parks at the greatest risk of redevelopment. And council directed us staff to return a CED committee here today with an analysis of the 5 mobile home parks that should be prioritized for redesignation. And that's what we're going to talk about today and is in the memo. So there was 3 criteria that we used. I'll walk quickly through them and then I'll walk a little more detail into them. The first is we looked at all of the mobile home parks that are currently designated residential neighborhood, which is it's a residential land use designation. And there are 42 parks with that land use designation out of the remaining 56. It's 55. And then we identified parks in a tier 1 or tier market sub area pursuant to the strategic economics opportunity housing feasibility report that analyzed the feasibility of building townhomes on single family lots in San Jose. And then we also analyzed the prevailing densities around the existing parks to understand how the prevailing density could facilitate the conversion of those parks to a new residential development. And I'm going to get in a little more detail on these as we move forward. So again, the goal overall was to determine the goal of this analysis was to determine which 5 parks should be prioritized for changing their land use designation to mobile home park. So the first, I have to really stretch my neck here. The first criteria was to look at those existing mobile home parks that had a residential land use designation, residential neighborhood land use designation. The point of this is that these parks already have a residential designation, and in theory, they could actually redevelop under that existing designation now without a general plan change. So I think we felt that was the really important criteria to add. The first one to look at is if we want to add another entitlement process to this overall closure and redevelopment, that we really should be looking at those that could move forward now without any council discretion on a general plan amendment. I should mention all the other parks that currently exist, the remaining, 13 or so, have an industrial or commercial land use designation. So those parks would need already a general plan amendment to move forward with closure and redevelopment. I should mention that parks that are designated currently for commercial or industrial uses would not that they couldn't, but we don't anticipate that they would redevelop, given that housing generally is a higher and better use from a real estate economics perspective than commercial and industrial in most cases in San Jose. So our findings were, again, there are 42 parks with this residential land use designation. So we started with that, and then we whittled it down from there. So the second analysis, we're looking at these strong and moderate market sub areas, the tier 1 and tier 2, from the strategic economics analysis of financial feasibility for opportunity housing. We're not able to complete a financial analysis specifically on the redevelopment of mobile home parks, but we thought that this was a good proxy that we could use to understand the viability of redeveloping parks, because it did look at redeveloping existing single-family properties with uses such as townhomes, for example. So this report gave us an opportunity to help us assess the risk of redevelopment on economic factors, and townhomes and small lot single-family were identified as feasible in some market areas. And mind you, when I say feasible in that you need to redevelop an existing piece of residential land. what the study looked at. So what we found out is there are 3 parks identified in this tier 1 market category: Oak Crest, Lamplighter, and Quail Hollow. There were no parks identified in tier 2, and the remaining parks were identified to be in tier 3, which is the lowest market for townhomes or housing, townhome housing in this case. So then the third criteria that we used was looking at prevailing density around the existing mobile home parks, the 12 that are designated, the 12 that we identified. So we looked at, we looked at the prevailing density of the 42 that are designated residential neighborhood. I just want to note that in the, hang on, I'll back up for a second. So the reason why we use the prevailing density is because the residential neighborhood land use designation in the general plan is generally designated for single family homes at 8 dwelling units to the acre. That's your typical density that you'll see in San Jose. The type of housings that was built in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, into the 90s. However, there is a provision in that land use designation that allows you to go up to 16 dwelling units to the acre if the prevailing density of the residential development in the neighborhood is higher than 8 dwelling units to the acre, up to 16 dwelling units to the acre. So we did an analysis of the prevailing density around these parks. Again, the idea is if the prevailing density is around 16, well, let me step back for a minute. And 16 dwelling units to the acre is generally the lower end of what we'll see for townhome development. So the idea is, where are there parks where the prevailing density is such that the parks could redevelop with townhomes without the need for a general plan amendment to be approved by council, because the prevailing density is such that they could be consistent with the RN land use designation and build townhomes. So that's what we were getting at. Again, they could do this townhome development without an amendment. And we focus on townhomes because our townhomes, there's a strong market for townhomes, and townhomes our sense and understanding is townhomes would be more profitable in many cases than your more traditional single family homes. You can get more units on the same amount of land, and they do command high prices still. So what we came up with is 12 parks designated residential neighborhood that have a prevailing density of 16 dwelling units or greater. I do want to note there is a typo in the memo which Housing Commissioner Martha O'Connell noted, and I want to give her credit for that. It's actually 12 parks. The text says 13, but the correct number is 12, and that's 12 that you see on the map and the 12 that's in the memo as well. So then the question is, well, there's 3 in tier 1, there's 12 in the prevailing density of 16 or greater. How do we get to 5? Because we have sufficient money to do more than 3. And so we decided to look at the gross acreage of the 12 with the idea that the largest 2 would be selected to be prioritized for redesignation in that batch of the first 5. And so the idea is that larger parks might be more attractive for redevelopment because there's more opportunities. Financially, it makes more sense to go through this rather extensive process if there's potentially more homes that you can build and profit at the end of the road. Secondly, the idea simply is, but by changing the designation of larger parks, you potentially give more protection to more residents than you would otherwise in smaller parks. So at the end of the analysis, the 5 that we're recommending moving forward now with the $30,000 that council gave us is Oak Crest, Lamplighter, Quail Hollow, Chateau de La Salle, and Mill Pond 1. And there they are shown in the map. 2 in District 7, 1 I think is District 6, and the other 2 are in District 4. Uh-oh, something happened. Okay, I don't know what happened with next steps, but I can talk to him. So this item is cross-referenced to council. We'll be coming back to council on October 18th to discuss this and get council to agree to which 5 that we should move forward with. If Once we get council direction, we will initiate the process, most likely in the spring of this year, bringing back to council the following fall. So that would be in the fall of 2023. We are planning to submit a budget request for next fiscal year 23-24 for funding to complete general plan amendments on all of the remaining mobile home parks. It is something that we do need to do to align the general plan with the zoning. In this case, it's aligning, we have to align those two things. And we also have heard council direction and want to complete this work. So we will be coming back with a budget request to do all of them. I do want to acknowledge Councilmember Esparza's memo. And so the money that we have currently is paying for noticing for community meetings, noticing for planning commission and city council, the environmental analysis, as well as translation of meeting materials and interpretation at the meeting. I think many of these parks have people that don't speak English. So that's really going to be important. And we anticipate that most of that 30,000, if not all of it, will be used to for changing the designation on 5 parks. What is not in that budget is the staff time to do the work. So we're going to use our existing staffing resources within our department or division to complete this work and have planners kind of weave in this work as part of their existing assignments. So if the council did want to move forward with elevating, actually, I think it's 12, not 13, but whether it's 13 or 12, of the other parks that have a prevailing density that's higher than 16, that's something that could be done, but we would need to put in a mid-year budget request for that. And it would be, on average, more money than the $30,000 for 5, just because we wouldn't have staff to do that. So our approach would be to hire a consultant or a peak staffer to manage those processes. And that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Let's move to members of the public.
Nancy?
Yes, this is Nancy.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you. My name is Nancy Stevens and I live in Mill Pond 2. I wanted to make some comments related to Christopher Burton's letter to the committee. I fail to understand why, when the city began its efforts back in 2015 to take action to preserve mobile home parks in response to the effort to close and convert Westminster Ranch Mobile Home Park, why general plan use amendments protecting all mobile home parks were not put in place at that time, regardless of the size of the mobile home park. Instead, analysis continues year after year after year. Every time this topic comes up for discussion, the anxiety, anxiousness, and fear levels of the families and seniors living in these mobile home parks rises. We're fearful of losing our homes and some of or all of our hard-earned money spent to purchase them. Many would be at risk of becoming homeless and or having to move out of the area away from extended family, friends, and medical care, so forth. I'm sick and tired of living this way. Most of the people I know in my community are thrilled to live here, but many are on a fixed income. If I must move, apparently Bakersfield is the most affordable city in the state to live in. If that did not prove to be financially feasible, Mississippi would be the cheapest state in this United States to live. Neither of these options appeals to me, and why should I be forced to move hundreds, thousands miles away to survive? Economic times are hard enough without this added worry. Let's not wait until staff is aware of any intent to convert a mobile home park in the city, because that could be too little too late. I support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks deemed at risk and all other mobile home parks in San Jose. Thank you.
Sona? Sona Sanchez?
Oh, it's Donna Sanchez. My name is Donna Sanchez, and I live in Quail Hollow Mobile Home Park. I support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all of the parks in San Jose. Thank you, and I would really hate to lose my mobile home. I love it. And I am a visually impaired handicapped person, and it would be very detrimental for me to lose this. Thank you very much.
Ricky? Ricky Antonio? Okay, moving on to Judy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I am Judy Erkenot, and I live in Quail Hollow in San Jose, and I support the mobile home park land use designation for Quail Hollow, the other 5 under consideration, and in fact, all the parks in San Jose. I was born and raised here in San Jose, and at 71 years of age, I'm retired and on a fixed income. Quail Hollow is a senior mobile home park and allows me to continue to live in San Jose near my children. Thank you for your consideration in this matter.
Caller ending in 1541. Press *6 to unmute.
Hi, my name is Glenna Howcroft. Last week, the Mobile Home Land Use Designation Status Report listed 5 parks considered the most risk for redevelopment. We are currently in our 7th year of requesting this designation for the remaining 56 parks. I live at Pepper Tree. I have seen 3 designations within a 2-week period: Transit Employment Center, TEC, Combined Industrial/Commercial, CI, and the latest being Light Industrial, LI. The map from the city website was dated August 2017. There were emails from the planning department which were conflicting with each other. When the city council voted to support the designation in June 2020, we were jubilant, but it didn't last long. We had to battle again for funding earlier this year. We were weary of the incessant foot dragging and the excuses. Thank you, staff, for moving this forward. We need all, not a few, but all of the mobile home parks needed that need to be designated as mobile home parks on the general plan. Not done next month or next year, but as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I just wanted to quickly offer a good luck to the people who are the mobile home park people who are, trying to defend their homes and really work on this issue as city government seems to relentlessly push forward with planning and ideas for the future of mobile home parks. A real good luck to listen to the mobile home park owners and their thinking on this matter. And thank you.
Marianne?
This is Marian Fricano. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I'm a resident of Oakcrest Park, and I've lived here for 20 years. And what I love about our park is that it doesn't discriminate as to age or race, and we know our neighbors, and it truly feels like a community. As you know, there's 150 residences here, and most of them are maintained to a high level of standards. Oakcrest is one of the only low-cost, affordable places left in San Jose, as are the rest of the mobile home parks. And since we pay for our own maintenance, it's low cost to the city of San Jose. Additionally, our homes are fairly close together, using the existing space wisely. Quite a few of us have actual yards and 2-car garages. I personally have a front and backyard devoted to pollinators, such as monarchs and gulf fritillaries, bumblebees, many species of birds. Some of my neighbors have the same kinds of yards devoted to pollinators and birds. So Oakcrest Park has a seasonal pond that provides habitat to wildlife. Anyway, I'm really happy that you're considering a mobile home zoning for us and other mobile home parks. And I hope that this goes forward, because this has been dragging on for a very, very long time. Thank you very much.
Caller ending in 4963.
Hi, Martha O'Connell, Regional Manager for GSMOL. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Michael Brio, who has produced an outstanding report that I am hopeful is going to restore some trust from the mobile home community to the government. I'm looking at page 3, and I'd like to thank him for putting in writing that in 2020, the City Council directed staff to initiate the general plan amendment for all remaining mobile home parks. And yes, we understand that then COVID hit. The reason I'm so grateful for that, Michael, is because there was a big discussion in Spotlight where the mayor was saying, well, we never actually did that. And a huge shout out to Councilperson Esparza, who actually did the research and read the motion from 2020 into the record. So thanks a lot. In the memo on page 9, I totally support the $225,000 to $300,000 to continue the work to get all the parks redesignated. I'd like to point out that that is a drop in the bucket for money. That money equates to 3.75 tiny homes. So for the same amount of money that you would spend on building 3 tiny homes, you can give an extra layer of protection to the 10,000 plus mobile home spaces that represent probably the last bastion of affordable housing ownership in the city of San Jose. So CED, look forward to your sending this to council and look forward to the meeting on October 18th. Thank you.
Rebecca. Rebecca. Okay, moving on to Debbie.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm speaking from the baby boomer generation. Baby boomers are born between 1946 and 1964. Between now and 2030, 10,000 baby boomers will be reaching retirement each day. With lower domestic oil and recent COVID issues, we have inflation. Salaries are lower, and retirement savings have decreased. We need affordable housing in San Jose, like Quail Hollow. I support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all the parks in San Jose. Thank you.
Caller ending in 0516. *6 to unmute.
My name is Gary Schaefer, and I live at Oak Crest Estates. And I would like to say that I support the mobile home land park use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all the parks in San Jose. Oak Crest Estates has been a lifesaver for me. I've lived in the area since 1990 and have been totally unable to afford any housing or home ownership in this area because simply housing is unaffordable. Mobile home parks are the last bastion that allows people to have home ownership and pride in their community. And with those points in mind, I would love to see this mobile home parkland use designation situated for once and for all. Thank you very much.
Nick.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you, council members, for the opportunity to speak on this topic. My name is Nick, and I live in the Quail Hollow Mobile Home Park. I have been here about 6 years, and I truly support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all the parks in San Jose. Our community out here is tremendous. The folks that live here are retirees that have spent the majority of their lives in this area as teachers, hard workers in our community. And these parks are what allows them to still remain here living in a dignified way. Council members, you spoke earlier about tenants' rights and displacement due to landlords and high rents that we see in this area, among other issues. Passing this would be such a huge accomplishment for all of the folks that live in our communities, just to give them that stability that brought them here to begin with in San Jose. I really appreciate your time. I do hope that you are able to budget this in there. It is truly important for everyone that lives here. And thank you for your time.
Ricky?
Hi, I'm Ricky Antonio. I've lived in a 5-mile circle my whole life, and Quail Hollow Mobile Home Park is in this 5-mile circle. I'm proud of our community. I've lived here my whole life. I'm 65. I've helped build this community and San Jose. Quail Hollow has been a lifesaver. We need affordable housing for senior citizens that have been the trailblazers. I do support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all the parks in San Jose. Thank you for your time.
Caller ending in 0950. Press *6 to unmute. Caller ending in 0950. Okay, I'm moving on to the next person, Jack.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to
Jack,
speak.
you're unmuted.
Yes, am I? Can you hear me? *6. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Jack, you're very quiet. Is there any way you can increase your volume?
Better now?
We can hear you, but it's a bit scratchy of a sound.
Yeah. I just want to say I support the mobile home designation. I know that I live in the Golden Wheel mobile home. Had new, we're all worried about being the designation changing or them selling or changing us. And I would just like to support. I don't like living, worrying about this every day like I have for many years. And I thank you.
Okay, next speaker, Georgia.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I agree with Nancy and Debbie and the other people that have been talking. I live in Quail Hollow. It's been stressful not knowing. I thought this was a done deal, but apparently not. Here we go again. I support the mobile park land use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all the parks in San Jose. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry, but this is really stressful on all of us to have to go through this again. Thank you for taking my call. And anyway, thanks. Bye.
Wallace. Wallace, it looks like your Zoom is outdated. I'm not able to allow you to speak. We do have a few more callers left, so if you'd like to leave the meeting and update your application really quickly and then rejoin and raise your hand again, I can call on you then. I'll move on to Jill Borders.
Hi, thank you. I actually wasn't going to speak today, but I just heard the last woman and thought I just really needed to say something. Sorry. Yes, this has been incredibly stressful. I first want to thank Council Member Esparza for her dedication on this issue, and others there that care so much. It means a lot to us. I also want to speak to somebody who mentioned something about the fear mongering going on. I assure you that I have stayed silent and not talked to anybody in my park about anything anymore, lest we be accused of fear mongering. Very frustrating to try to advocate for yourself on the one hand, and on the other hand, be then accused of fear mongering. In 2012, after our landlord gave us notice so that he could sell to a developer and bulldoze down our rental home to build this giant McMansion, fine. We had a choice to make because we couldn't find a place to live. And our choice was my husband was going to stay here and keep his job, live on a friend's couch. And my daughter and I would go to Utah, live with my brother until we could find out what we could do. And we doubled down. We took the money that we had saved to someday, hopefully buy a home with the land underneath it, and instead decided to buy a mobile home and take a chance to stay because we were both born and raised in San Jose and we love it here. And I received a phone call from the city 2 years later asking me to come to a focus group to talk about conversions of mobile home parks. Well, needless to say, the first thing you think of is, should we put that $10,000 replacement roof on? Should we, ex-nay the $7,000 that we were supposed to fix that, et cetera, et cetera. But here we are, we've stayed. And I have so much research, I've done so much, but I want to tell you what's at stake here today. And it's our values. Our values are what's at stake. Do we value the people that choose to stay here, or do we just need them to leave? And we chose to stay, and I would like to be valued for that.
Rebecca?
Yes, hello, my name is Rebecca Royce, and I'm a resident of Oak Crest Mobile Home Park. As a mobile home park resident, I'm able to afford to live and work as a registered nurse in the Bay Area while financially supporting a young adult full-time student at San Jose State University. I pay property taxes and sales taxes. I participate in civic life as a voter without exception. I have seen and have experienced how the punishing cost of housing here has driven scores of low and middle income residents into states of houselessness or mortgage or rent poverty in order to remain modestly housed. Please consider that the affordability of San Jose's mobile home parks enables a great many of us, citizens and taxpayers, to remain housed in this city that we love, who would otherwise not be able to afford to do so. I support extending the mobile home park land use designation to all San Jose parks. Thank you for your service.
Alice?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. My name is Alice of Alice Orth, and I live here in Mill Pond for the last 7 years. We moved into this well-maintained park. We thought it would be a nice way to stay in San Jose. We remodeled our coach and are very happy here. I support, my husband supports this mobile home park land use designation for all of the parks in San Jose. And we do need the assurance that the land that our mobile homes are on will not be taken by developers. That's really in many ways creating more homeless residents. Our parks, I feel, are well maintained, offer a good quality of life in San Jose. So we need the assurance that our homes will not be taken from us. So we're asking you to give us the protection we need from big development and losing our home sites. So thank you for listening to us and taking our feelings into account on your vote. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try again, caller 0950. Press *6 to unmute on your phone.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Gary Smith. I live in Mill Pond. My wife and Judy and I both support the recommendation for the land use designation for all the parks. We've lived here 22 years. We love it here. It's a great place to live, and we cannot afford to move somewhere else. So please go ahead with this recommendation. Thank you.
Okay. John?
Yes, hello. My name is John Peeney. I live in Oak Crest Estates. I've been here for a little over 10 years, and I support the mobile home park land use designation for our park and for all the parks being spoken of. I'd like to say that I moved here because it was affordable for me at the time. As I approach retirement, I don't see me being able to live in another location in the Santa Clara County or in the Greater Bay Area in general. The city and county is always talking about affordable housing And it seems that the mobile home community has been that for me. And I don't, it doesn't make sense to me to take down already existing affordable housing to people and build, whether it's townhomes or whatever other affordable housing that is on the agenda when it's already in existence and working for this community. Oakcrest, as was mentioned earlier, is a very, very personable community. A lot of the neighbors know each other here, and we have very nice land uses here. And I just want to thank you for your time for listening and appreciate your consideration.
Candace?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Candace and I live also in Oakcrest Estates. I moved here 10 years ago and it has really been a dream come true that I can afford to live in San Jose and work in San Jose. And I want to just applaud those who have come before me today. And I would hope that the staff and the council would really pay attention to our voices and not just to the developers who might bring in some more profitable land use. That's not right. We have enough that has been built up in this North San Jose area. I don't think we need any more. And we also need to think about the water use here, something I'm concerned about with the continued drought. So thank you for your time. And I want to let you know that I support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks listed and for all parks in San Jose. We would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Caller ending in 5215. Press *6 to unmute on your phone. Again, that's caller ending in 5215. You want to press *6 to unmute. Okay, I'm going to move on to Russ and Beth.
Mute. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Russ and I live in Quail Hollow. We've lived in San Jose. I was born and raised in San Jose, and we support the mobile home park land use designation for the 5 parks and all the parks in San Jose. Thank you for your consideration and apologies for the emotion.
Call-in user 2. Press *6 to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Linda Eels, and I live in Oakcrest Estates. I have been here 30 years. It will be 31 years in November. This was the only home that my husband and I could afford. My husband passed away 5 years ago, and this is the home that I had hoped that I would live in until the day I die. I have nowhere else to go. I love this place. I've been here, like I said, for over 30 years. It is the only affordable housing that we have in this county, and I support the mobile home park use land designation for the 5 parks that are listed and for all of the parks in San Jose. If you really want to help people get affordable housing, then you need to keep the mobile home parks. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll try one more time. Caller ending in 5215. Press *6 to unmute. Okay, back to the committee.
Thank you. I want to thank the staff for your presentation, and Bryce, thank you for your first memo. It was extremely well written, and the presentation was really helpful. I want to also thank all of the members of the public who called in and expressed their support of the mobile home parks that they live in. I know many of them, and they're lovely, and they're natural, affordable housing, naturally occurring affordable housing, and we need to protect and preserve them as much as possible. I've been an advocate for them since I've been sitting on council, so I think you have a list of, or at least a few of us who are very friendly to mobile home parks, and I suspect all of us on this committee are wanting to move this forward and change the land use designation. As many of us pushed to push this land use designation and this funding in the most recent budget cycle, we got 5, and the 5 are before us today. But hopefully we're going to come back with all of them at some point, because I think it is really critical. And it's an emotional time. I understand, I hear in many of your voices the concern and worry that you have. So one of the reasons that I was an advocate for moving this forward was because of the peace of mind that it will give you. And that's so important that you have that peace of mind. So let's see what we can do to take away some of that concern and move forward. With that, I'll call on Councilmember Esparza.
Thank you, Chair Foley. I also would like to thank all our mobile home park residents who called in today and spoke very passionately. I know many of you reorganized your day so that you could be here for this meeting, and they're rightfully demanding our actions to protect their community and to protect their housing. I know also many residents are going to be listening and watching this after the fact, so I'm going to make a couple of statements, and then I have some questions that I think will be helpful. I'd like to point out that as a region and as our city, we have a policy to prioritize the 3 Ps. And that's protection, preservation, and production. Protection for current residents to avoid displacement, and 2, preservation of existing housing that's affordable for lower and middle income residents. And our mobile home parks fulfill 2 of those 3 Ps. San Jose is also home to the largest number of mobile homes of any city in California. And our mobile homes represent one of the city's naturally occurring affordable housing for over 35,000 residents, and is one of the last remaining avenues towards homeownership. So these parks, they're homes, these homes, they provide a safe, affordable place for families to grow, for our seniors to age with dignity. And this is why the council passed in March 2020 to preserve, to protect over 10,000 naturally occurring mobile homes. And this current land use designation for mobile home parks in San Jose are a mixture of various designations. Bryce, excellent memo, thank you. And you mentioned that there are 42 residential neighborhoods designations, but it goes everything from residential neighborhood to heavy industrial. I don't think it's humane or practical to keep the current designation, and I don't think it's humane or practical for us not to protect our residents in a housing crisis. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. One is, we had previously looked at the prevailing density, and now we're adding park size to the criteria. Can you please explain that change or that addition? Because I know there have been some changes, and that's why we added this. Can you explain that for our folks to understand?
Sure. So first you start with the 42 residential neighborhoods, and then you layer on top the ones that are in tier two, meaning that there's a strong or moderately strong market for redevelopment with townhomes. And there were only 3 parks that fell into tier 1 or tier 2. Actually, they fell into tier 1. So then the question is, well, then the next analysis looked at, well, let's look at the prevailing density such that the density is 16 dwelling units or acre or more, such that they could redevelop with townhomes without a general plan amendment. And then, but there were 12 of those. So we didn't have enough funding to do all 12 of them. So the question was, how do we narrow it down to something that fits within our budget, which is 5. So what we did is we look at those 12 and we thought, well, let's prioritize the 2 that are the largest, because again, that would protect more people because they're larger. And then secondly, the thought is, it's a theory, but the theory is that parks that are larger might be more desirable, or there might be more interest in redevelop them, because the process to close and then redevelop a mobile home park is a rather lengthy process. There's potentially more homes and more profit that could be generated going to redevelop those larger profits. Hence, someone might be more willing to take that risk. That's a theory. We don't know that for sure. But again, it was just the idea that let's pick the bigger ones because we could protect more people. So that's how we ended up with 5.
Thank you. And can you explain why industrial and or commercial conversions? Again, we know that the majority are residential neighborhood, but we do have industrial or commercial conversions, that those were not put on the list. Can you explain that?
They were not put on a list because if you wanted to redevelop those so a couple things. One is residential in San Jose generally is from what the real estate term is a higher and better use. It has more value. You can potentially make more profit. So the idea is that if a developer is going to redevelop a mobile home park, they would likely desire to redevelop it with a different or higher intensity residential use than the existing mobile home park. And if it's commercial or industrial, you would already, to build that residential, you'd already have to go through a general plan amendment process, and the council would have to approve that. So that's the thinking behind that.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarity. And thank you for the analysis. It was really well done. Thank you for the presentation. And we will continue, I know, to share it with our residents because I think you laid out things pretty clearly. I'd like to speak to the memo that I submitted this morning. And I hope my colleagues have had a chance to look at it. So just to recap, the action that council took on March 10th, 2020, when we applied the mobile home park land use designation to Mountain Springs and to West Winds, the council unanimously directed that staff begin the necessary environmental reviews and the work to amend the Envision 2040 general plan to apply the mobile home park designation to the remaining 56 mobile home parks in the city. And that included direction to bring back the resolutions no later than March 2021. Obviously, a week later, we were in a lockdown and facing a very different world, and the city mobilized to save lives. But one of the things I wanted to point out was that this pandemic and our challenges have only highlighted the need to protect this type of housing further, to protect. We realize how vulnerable people are. So to me, it just shows how important this is. So for housing for lower and middle income families, housing for seniors, for people on fixed incomes who wouldn't even be able to stay in our city otherwise. And so for 2.5 years, over 35,000 residents of our mobile home parks have been waiting for us to complete this work. And so we need to move forward. And frankly, we need to move forward on protecting all of our mobile home parks, beginning with the 13 identified by staff as having surrounding prevailing densities that could possibly, does not mean that this is coming, it means that it's a possibility based on the analysis, that could possibly make them attractive for development. And those parks are Oak Crest, Lamplighter, Quail Hollow, Chateau La Salle, Mill Pond, Caribbees, Hometown, San Jose Mobile Home and RV Park, San Jose Trailer Park, La Buena Vita, Sun Shadow, and Silver Creek Mobile Estates. And so I asked staff that when we return to council in October, that bring us a plan, and you mentioned the mid-year budget review, including any resources needed to ensure that these 13 parks are prioritized and that we will work to move forward to give them that mobile home park designation as soon as possible. And that's less than a quarter of the remaining 56 parks that we were asking for originally. So with that, I'd like to move to direct staff to return to council with a plan to begin necessary environmental reviews and work to amend the general plan land use designation of the 12 parks found in its analysis to have surrounding prevailing densities that would support potential redevelopment, and to cross-reference this to council on October 25th? 18th, sorry, October 18th, to cross-reference this to council on October 18th.
Second.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And then I'd also like to ask staff, because there's so much anxiety on this. I mean, frankly, I'm so appreciative of the folks that were able to call in, because people are, there's a tremendous amount of anxiety throughout our city on this issue, that when this does come to council, that we address the need and a plan to how we're going to, what it'll take to get to all of them, but starting with these 13 most at risk. But, you know, we need to have an overall plan. I know we're still coming out of COVID, but to me, that's makes this 13 more urgent. But really, we need to start addressing the remaining parts. That's it for me. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Turning to Councilmember Mahan.
Thanks, Chair, and I'll be brief. I think you and Councilmember Esparza covered it really well. I want to also thank Michael, Bryce, and anybody else on staff who worked on the memo. I thought it was excellent. It was really helpful to see the analysis. As you kind of ran through the history, I mean, it just reminds me that we need to be really careful when we communicate that we're going to do something to the on behalf of the public, and then to have this level of uncertainty and back and forth, it really erodes trust in City Hall. So I'm glad that we're moving forward, but clearly it has been far too slow and incremental, and I think we heard that reflected in the public comment. I want to thank everybody who commented. I think some of you know I've referenced before my aunt, my favorite aunt, and my grandmother lived. The reason they were able to own was that they lived in a mobile home park for 40 some years, and were similarly always worried about what would happen to the land under their homes. So I appreciate the efforts that have been made here. I really appreciate Councilmember Esparza's memo. I had kind of questions along similar lines, but I'm glad that she laid it out so well in writing and fully support that direction. And I think Martha made the right point that this is really a small investment to offer some much needed security and sense of stability and safety to a lot of people in our community. So I appreciate the direction we're going in. Very happy to support the motion. And that was all I had, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Perales.
Yeah, thank you. I echo the appreciation of staff as well as Councilmember Esparza on this direction here. I think I know I appreciate, but I think we all appreciate the analysis that's come out of this and being able to determine these 13 what we would consider most vulnerable mobile home park sites. And I agree with the direction presented. I just have a question for staff. Let's say we are able to allocate the funding necessary for these 13 parks rather than just the 5 that you currently are planning to move forward with on the land use change. Do you have the capacity to do that, and what's the timeline look like?
Sure, I can respond to that, Councilmember Perales. So we don't have the capacity now to add 13 to the workload of our existing staff. So what we would do, assuming we put in a budget request and assuming we get the budget, we would use that money to hire what we call a peak staffer or a consultant that is a consultant that would sit in our office. And while we would manage them, they would do the day-to-day work of taking the general plan amendments through the process. So that would be our approach. The money would go, the additional money we would need would go to things like noticing for community meetings and public hearings and translation interpretation, the CEQA. But the biggest chunk will be to hire a staff person, a consultant staff person to do that work.
Okay, so that would be the plan then, and that would be what we would ultimately have to approve the budget for, and that thus we wouldn't necessarily have to delay progress on this, besides the delay of potentially, number one, getting the funding approved, and then number two, actually onboarding somebody, correct?
Correct. So I'm a little hazy on when the money would come to the request, but our plan now is to start the 5 in spring. Just that's kind of looking at when our staff has some capacity to take this on. But if we do get the mid-year budget request approved, we would start at the same time as we do the 5. So it wouldn't affect the overall schedule. It wouldn't happen later. It could happen all at the same time.
Okay, so I definitely support that, and hope we can get there and be able to allocate the funds for you. Again, I appreciate we've identified these top 13. In addition, I would echo the comments that we've heard from the public speakers that came out, and appreciate them coming out, the emotions that they shared, and they're extremely well validated, considering the challenges that we have here and the potential for them losing their homes, places, some of them that they've called home their whole life. And so I definitely am interested in seeing the remainder of the mobile home parks as well, even if we don't believe them to be the most vulnerable. I'm interested in that. That was the direction, the hope of the council before, recognizing now we need to prioritize and allocate those funds, but hopefully the council next year can continue to do so. Thanks.
Thank you, council member. Next is council member Carrasco.
Thank you, Chair Foley. I wanted to thank the public for coming out and speaking on this issue and what it means to them personally to be able to stay in the city that they love. Over the years, we've been talking about anti-displacement strategies, and I know that for the last 8 years, among some of the first folks that came into my office to talk to me about the most pressing issues was Martha and some of the other advocates speaking up on mobile home conversions or the threat of mobile home conversions, and truly helping me understand what this meant for the city of San Jose. And as we're looking at displacement strategies or how to intervene, I should say, as folks are being displaced, and we talk about communities being gentrified. I really appreciate all of the work that's been done by staff. I appreciate Councilmember Esparza's motion, but truly really appreciate the ongoing and consistent advocacy on behalf of our community. And I couldn't agree more that this roller coaster of emotions needs to stop, and we need to give individuals and their families and their children a sense of place, but also a sense of stability and security. What a stressful time to be dealing with this on top of everything else that we're trying to recover from over the past several years. I do want to say that I thought that Martha's example of the tiny homes into them. So I just wanted to thank, again, all of the public for speaking up and for making sure that this is, that the point is really driven to each and every one of us. I'll be here only a few more months, and I know that my council colleagues will carry on this very worthwhile fight until we make sure that we protect every resident here in the city. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. I remember the March 10th meeting very well. It was our last meeting in public, and I remember Martha O'Connell sitting right over there, and her concerns and the community's concerns about mobile home parks. And I remember the commitment that we made then, and We tell our kids to follow through on their commitments. And as adults and as policymakers, we need to make sure that happens. We need to set that as a model for our families and children, that when we commit to something, we're going to follow through. So this motion is the beginning of us following through. It's not completely yet, but it is so important. I do have a question though, Michael, over something that you mentioned when Councilmember Perales asked you about the consultant and how you were going to get the rest of it done. And you mentioned that you weren't planning to bring the first 5 back until spring. That doesn't seem like a rush to me.
No, no, we would initiate the process in the spring, doing outreach in the spring and summer, bringing it back roughly about this time next year for council consideration. So yeah, and we could look at expediting that. What we did is we looked at the staff that we have now, the vacancies we currently have, to be honest, what people have on their plate, and the timing of when they'll become available to sort of take these on. Because remind you, this is we're doing this with the existing staff we have and the existing workload they currently have on their plate. As we put in a budget request, let me just say one option could be is that we look at some additional money to hire a peak staff to do, the five are in the 13. So if we get the additional money through a mid-year budget request, we would have a peak staffer do all of them, and we can look at, depending on, look at the timing, get the money and try to get it started sooner. We can explore that.
Okay, so you're saying that on October 18th, if we find a way to allocate additional funds, that it would be possible to move the timeline up.
Right. So yeah. So right. So if we're requesting the money through the city's standard mid-year process, that's one sort of timeline in terms of we could get the money. If council, I'm not sure how that would work, but if council found the money on the 18th, that would expedite it. I got to be careful what I say. It's
going to come out of
trouble with Jennifer McGuire.
No, as they're all now staff's hedging over here a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. They're not at all. I just want to leave you with that this is about peace of mind. It's bringing removing an area of concern with over 30,000 residents, and so we need to proceed with Godspeed. And with that, let's vote.
Carrasco,
Aye.
Perales,
Yes.
Mahan,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
and Foley.
Aye. Thank you. Next item is the 2022 California Building Standards Code adoption. Who do we have making that presentation?
Thank you, Chair. Lisa Joyner and Chief Dobson will be joining to make that presentation.
Great, thank you.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Foley and the rest of the council members. I'm Lisa Joyner, Deputy Director of the Building Division of PBCE, and I'm joined by James Dobson, our Deputy Chief and Fire Marshal of the San Jose Fire Department, as well as our Director, Chris Burton. And we're here to talk to you today about our 2022 California Building Standards Code adoption. All right, so every 3 years, the building codes are updated and adopted by the state. We are currently on the 2019 building cycle, and effective this coming January is the 2022 California Building Codes, which are based on the 2021 International Building Codes as the model code. And this ordinance in turn translates our building codes to our municipal code. Title 24 of our municipal code is the technical codes with the building code, and Title 17 is the fire code. So what will this ordinance accomplish? So we will adopt the 2022 edition of the California Building Codes with local amendments. We'll be able to update previously adopted amendments to the 2022 California codes to match current code language and references. And we'll also be able to update the municipal code to remove any amendments we previously have that have now been incorporated into the building codes. So jurisdictions are permitted to modify the state adopted building standards to make them more restrictive, nevertheless, than the code, as long as the modifications are deemed necessary due to special local climatic, geological, or topographical conditions that could affect our residents. So we live in an area that has potential for high seismic activity. We're a very densely populated area. So we are very concerned about significant damage from earthquakes. And we're also concerned about increased hazard for spread, magnitude, and severity of potential fires within the city. So this allows us to make local amendments to the state codes. And from code cycle to code cycle, things move around in the code, section references change, and this gives us the opportunity to make sure our municipal code is still in alignment with the building code and references. So what are we recommending? So for the Title 24 building code amendments, we are going to retain 4 local amendments that we've had as we move on to the 2022 building and residential codes. And those are related to building separations, special testing and inspections for concrete foundations, gypsum board shear walls, and braced wall panels that disallow the use of certain materials and construction methods like gypboard and stucco that don't perform well as lateral elements. And we are not proposing any additional amendments to Title 24 as a result of the 2022 building codes being adopted. And I will turn it over to Chief Dobson for the Title 2017.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson, Foley, council members in attendance, city staff, and the public. I'm James Dobson, Deputy Fire Chief and Fire Marshal for the San Jose Fire Department. The San Jose Fire Department works in collaboration with other fire departments within the county and the greater Bay Area to establish consistent amendments and provide for the health, welfare, and safety of our local residents. Title 17.12 deals with the 2020 California Fire Code adoption and amendments. From that, we are going to appeal 19 amendments. They have to do with 3D printing, the definition, manufacturing requirements. These were incorporated into the 2022 code and are now no longer necessary in an amendment. We've removed the prohibition for a combination standpipe sprinkler system. This has been established for over 2 decades, but with current technologies, this will be a big benefit to the business community while still providing safety for our residents. We've also made some amendments to some of the standards that we utilize, which is NFPA when we deal with sprinklers for the NFPA 13, 13D, 13R systems. We've also removed or appealed amendments for NFPA 14, 20, 24, 72, 122 as well. We're reverting to the standards in the current or proposed 2022 California Fire Code. We are also repealing NFPA 19, 13, 13D, 13R, 14, 20, 24, 72 standards and reverting to the standard. So there's 2 different types there. So there's 7 there. So for continuing with the California Fire Code, we have 31 modifications. These modifications are for minor clarity corrections, such as just trying to make sure that what we have written in our codes makes sense, that is easily understood by our business community, as well as our inspectors that are doing and plan reviewers. We're also incorporating some long-term policy into code at the recommendation of our business community. We are doing one additional amendment. That is to deal with the inspection, testing, and maintenance requirements. And the addition actually deals with how contractors will notify the fire department and the city through our compliance service engine who's contracted by the city of San Jose. We're going to retain 85 amendments, all again to provide for the health, welfare, and safety of our local residents. Going away from the California Fire Code, we also have Title 17.68, which deals with the hazardous materials storage permit amendments. We've made 7 amendment modifications, again, for minor clarity. Also, utilization of the 2022 California Fire Code definitions. And we've removed some invalid legacy notification requirements that are no longer necessary. We've retained 71 of the amendments to the Title 17.68 Hazardous Material Storage Permit amendments. That's all from the fire department.
Then our next steps. So with your recommendation, we're going to City Council on October 18th, so the adoption can be fully complete by January 1st. And in early 2023, we will be providing training sessions to design professionals, developers, contractors, our construction community on any significant changes between the 2019 and 2022 building codes.
So conclude your presentation.
Thank you. That concludes our presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that presentation, Lisa and Deputy Chief Dobson. It was very interesting, and the report was very interesting as well. I've never read building codes like that, so that was really a lot to digest, but interesting and informative. Let's turn to the members of the public.
Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman here. Thanks a lot for this item. This is your continuing work to offer the community what are your preparedness practices, emergency preparedness practices, as a full community open effort. And I just wanted to really, again, thank yourselves for this work. As I've been trying to explain, it's my understanding that if we do this sort of work in San Jose, it prepares us for good funding, federal funding dollars by, say, 2024. I've always been interested, does this have an added component to actually be preparing us for a possible earthquake in 2023? Thank you again for your patience, how I try to offer those words only to illuminate, or I don't know if that's the right word, but just so we can be aware of choices, how to view such a situation for 2023. I'm not sure what to expect in the year, but to say the words can at least give us some thought about choices, how we can think and work. I hope that's an open conversation we have, and good luck with all the CERT work that's going on also at this time. And this is just great work. I think San Jose has been a model example for the Bay Area, how to involve disaster preparedness, emergency preparedness, as part of, you know, health and human services and racial equity ideas. That if you think about it in those terms, that's a good future plan to be working towards, that I think can give good examples for other Bay Area cities. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Councilmember Carrasco, you have your hand raised. Was that on the last issue?
It was. Sorry about that.
Okay, since I have you on the line, would you care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to move the item forward.
And cross-reference to the council meeting on the 18th of October.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you. Great, is there any further discussion from my colleagues? If not, then let's vote.
Carrasco.
Aye.
Morales.
Yes.
Mahan.
Aye.
Esparza.
Yes.
And Foley.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. So concludes our meeting. Now we have time for open forum.
Blair Beekman.
Blair Beekman here. I'm just getting off the bus. Thanks for the meeting today. Yeah, it was a really packed meeting of items. Thank you. I guess for me, you know, I'm really going to make it a point this fall that I felt the ALPR study session agenda item at council a few weeks ago didn't go very well. I mean, we really got to understand that we're being told by city government a few times at their public meetings that they're being given at least a 72-hour window of data that's being collected for themselves. We have to learn to really line up these things right and do it openly and honestly. And we can't just say that we've done our due diligence and we've done enough work on the subject, which is what's interesting, because I think San Jose city government is being prepared and groomed to really ask these questions more. How can it be a more open, accessible process with the community? And we should celebrate that and want to work towards what staff has been how staff is being built, basically, to ask these sort of questions of the future of the public and get feedback and get understanding and have a clear policy practices in place and not just kind of this muddled national security, we have to protect ourselves kind of thing. We can really be open and trusting, and that it won't hurt anything. So good luck in those efforts. And to quickly offer, you know, it's been a week at the UN at this time. I've learned a lot how to better understand the positions of Russia and Ukraine. I'm sorry where I've been wrong in the past months in talking about these issues. All I can say is I hope I've able to make clear that we don't say it often enough, that Russia really wants kind of a port area in the Black Sea. And we should at least know that that's.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. Couldn't wait to do that again.